on a retro trek with the caramel apples, a nostalgic adventure that dials up on all amazing things pop culture, both crunchy and sweet. Let's head into the Orchard archives and recall the many fascinating memories to be found in the lovable favorite television sitcom classic, The Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Excited to deep dive into our most nostalgic memories surrounding one of our favorite 80s sitcom pastimes. And that's all of the laughs and fun to be had baked into the classic offerings of the Golden Girls.
Yay!
Oh, I mean, they're literally like our favorite 80s sitcoms ever.
So good, so good.
Yeah, there's nothing we don't enjoy about their witty presentation.
Oh, me too, Kennedy. Boo, boo, boo.
Oh, that's right. It just took us back to Adventure Express. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, long story, archivers, never mind.
So, The Golden Girls has become a landmark in television history and an all-time fan favorite, you and me included.
Yes, yes.
There's so much we can get to deep dive into this week that if it weren't for our notes, wherever would we begin?
You said it. I know I love The Golden Girls so much that I proudly own all 7 seasons in a box set, my prized DVD set. And I've practically worn them out. It's always a good time and an instant soother and healer whenever you're having, those down or bad days, not feeling well. These two are good to bring on vacation, whatever.
Yeah.
But I really do this, Cooper, and I have plagued my poor hubby. I've plagued him into watching these with me in the early days of our relationship, and I'm sad to say that he absolutely has a huge distaste for the Golden Girls.
Oh, no, you didn't, Kennard.
Yeah, I know. But I can't take the blame for his poor taste in good entertainment. So he actually says that it's my fault that he doesn't care for, no, more like that he can't stand watching the Golden Girls. And I say shame on him because he's missing out on a good time.
Yes, I think I vaguely remember that he actually got you one as a gift. He's probably so sorry he ever did that. He just added to his pain.
I tell you, that strong arming comes in handy.
It really does. But like you said, he is totally the one missing out now.
Yes,
so I'm
is.
completely with you on that, Kennedy. He really is missing out on a good time.
Yes.
But thank goodness we have a superb taste and wonderful entertainment. And it's one of the reasons why The Golden Girls is so enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
It's because we were watching and witnessing a time when things were much more carefree.
There it is.
The aura and attitude of that era was so incredibly infectious. We just felt like adventure and excitement was always waiting just around the corner, even in talking about what the Golden Girls portrayed. Mm-hmm. And that was the day in the life adventures of some of our beloved geriatric folk.
That was very polite. I like that.
So The Golden Girls was shot on videotape, yes, videotape, in front of a live studio audience. That's so 80s. So very nostalgic.
It really is. They bake that right into their presentations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The Golden Girls is about 4 previously married women who lived together in Miami, which at the time in the 80s was more of a retirement mecca.
Yeah.
And these ladies shared their various experiences together and enjoyed themselves despite hard times and various issues. Yeah, watching this show was great, and it was always easy to settle in and live vicariously through them and their wacky adventures.
Oh, yes. And as you said, The Golden Girls is based on the lives and interactions of 4 older women who have been all divorced or widowed and are now roommates.
Uh-huh.
The 4 roommates are famously known as Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, and Sophia. We'll give a brief rundown of what each of the roommates or friends were about and brought to the show. Then you can easily see why this was such a good time when you sat down to watch.
Uh-huh.
Dorothy's main goal during the series is to find a companion she can relate to, while her mother Sophia shows up as her comic ornery mother, sharing her frequent picture it stories.
Let me tell you a story. Picture it. Sicily, 1922.
And then you have Rose's St. Olaf tales. Make her a little corny, but oh so lovable. And one thing we, the viewing audience, can count on that changes nearly every episode of The Golden Girls is whom Blanche is seeing or dating.
Yeah, that's a nice rundown summary of our retro stars this week, Coop. Good job.
Thanks.
So we're off to a great start. The Golden Girls was a standout sitcom offering that proudly hailed on the NBC network in 1985. And, if my recollection is correct, NBC was like the network for trending shows, movies, and so on. It was like you had arrived if your show came on NBC.
Yes.
NBC Network was already a monster by 1985, thanks to other nostalgic programs like Cheers, LA Law, Miami Vice, and The Cosby Show. All part of that unbeatable weeknight, especially Thursday night lineup. Adding the Golden Girls to that awesome media formula easily spelled ratings gold for the network.
Yeah. Shows and sitcoms from back in the 80s were more or less brilliant.
Oh, yes.
Brilliantly cast, brilliantly written, brilliantly showcased.
Wait. So are you saying that the Golden Girls was brilliant?
Oh, hush up, Kennedy. You're always making fun. You need to give little sis a break. You need to give little sis a bit of a break, will ya?
Oh, let me see. I'll think about it.
Fun fact. You had just mentioned the primetime NBC hit Cheers a moment ago. But did you know that unlike Cheers, The Golden Girls was a hit from its very first episode? It dominated with spunk and much bigger on Saturday nights.
Oh, that's right. It did come on Saturday nights, didn't it?
It sure did. But NBC was initially worried that the show would never find an audience big enough to make a dent in the ratings. But for a time, The Golden Girls was as excellent as anything else the network had to offer. And we are so not surprised.
No, not at all. For we were and are a huge part of that ever-attentive audience. One can't go wrong with the Fabulous Four.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We got Beatrice Arthur, Rue McClanahan, Betty White, and Estelle Getty, showcasing the hilarious day in the life of 4 South Florida seniors sharing a house, their dreams, and a whole lot of their favorite dessert together. Which was what, Cooper?
Oh, I totally remember. But that might be a good bit of trivia for the Orchard Archivers.
Oh yeah, good call.
Okay. So what do you think, Archivers? Do you remember what was the ladies' favorite dessert pastime together? Weigh in.
With discussing the Golden Girls, the trivia could go on for days.
Oh, yes.
And we're totally here for it, too.
We sure are. And fun fact, did you know that our 4 actresses actually consumed over 100 offerings of this type of dessert during the show's 7-year run?
That's a lot of dessert.
It is. said that bakeries from around the United States would send in their particular dessert for them.
Oh.
B. Arthur, a.k.a. Dorothy, actually hated this dessert in real life.
Oh, boy, she working for that paycheck then, wasn't she?
Yes.
That is funny. Like, what are the odds, though?
Yeah.
I love the backstory tidbits we find out each week over the array of retro topics we cover.
Me too.
You know, being invited into the weekly display of the Golden Girls allowed a rapt audience to jump in on the bright, provocative, clueless, and hilarious antics these lovely, mismatched, mature ladies form as the perfect circle of friends. Each of those 4 descriptive terms perfectly matched up with our 4 colorful roommates.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The Golden Girls was laugh-packed from the moment it started.
The moment the Golden Girls got started, we were familiar with the credits at the beginning of the sitcom, which was created by Susan Harris.
Yeah.
It was produced by Witt Thomas Harris Productions in association with Touchstone Television. Paul Younger Witt, Tony Thomas, and Susan Harris served as the original executive producers of the Golden Girls.
Also a standout feature that we saw at the beginning of the Golden Girls and all throughout the show was the familiar music and singing that accompanied it. The opening theme, Thank You for Being a Friend, was performed by Cynthia Fee. The minute the show got started, you'd see the ever-familiar jetliner flying across the sunrise or sundown sky. Then the title script would appear across the screen as the aerial long panoramic shots displayed over the then primitive Miami or Fort Lauderdale beach scenes.
Yeah.
Then the character montage would roll into some of the adventures of the ladies. The Golden Girls was simply amazing each and every time we watched. I so feel like popping it in right now. You with me, Coop?
I'm totally down. I am so down. And we'll so have to do this like pronto when we get done with our Trek Retro this week.
All right, facts. Hashtag facts.
So really quickly about the song, I don't know if you're like me, but the young mind, you know how you make associations, right?
Yes, yes.
I always thought that was Blanche who sang the song.
Really?
I did. I thought that's how my mind worked.
That's pretty cool, though, because you were making connections.
Yes, so that was Blanche singing. Sorry, Cynthia.
That's pretty cool.
So let's briefly peer into how well one of our favorite television sitcoms did, shall we?
Yeah.
Fun fact, The Golden Girls received critical acclaim throughout most of its run and won several awards, including the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Comedy Series 2 times.
Okay.
It also won 3 Golden Globe Awards for Best Television Series, Musical, or Comedy. But you'd be happy to know that each of our talented 4 ladies received an Emmy Award, making it one of only 4 sitcoms in the awards history to achieve this. Also, another notable nod is that the Golden Girls ranked among the Nielsen Ratings top 10 for 6 of its 7 seasons.
And we're not done. The Golden Girls in recent years, specifically in 2013, TV Guide ranked it as number 54 on its list of the 60 best series of all time. Also, a representative from the Associated Press reported that the series continues to attract new fans in the 21st century and characterize it as an example of a sitcom that has aged well. We concur.
Yes.
Hey, just like our brilliant ladies, they concur.
Yes.
See, this is the kind of retro spark that appeals to younger generations. You simply can't go wrong in choosing any given retro entertainment. I am so glad that the Golden Girls is among this list of greats.
Oh, much agreed, Kennard.
Yeah.
Wow. What made the Golden Girls work was the abundant, warm nostalgia found within. Our mature, fabulous 4 lived, laughed, and cried together for nearly a decade from 1985 to 1992.
That's some years.
Yeah. And the series pushed the envelope on just about everything that dominated headlines from the 80s all during its run. Potentially sensitive topics were baked in, such as ageism, sexism, political unrest, AIDS, and an endless list of other topics too, to go on right now at length.
Yeah.
Although a bit edgy, the episodes went all in on comedy, but usually too, almost always had a deep meaning to them about love and deep friendship.
Cooper, we so often speak about the professionalism that played out behind the scenes and in front of the camera, involving the old school greats in regards to acting. The Golden Girls was thankfully no different. All 4 actresses shared the spotlight equally for the most part.
This was always an appealing development in regards to the fun to be had on the Golden Girls. Fun fact, did you know that there was an early key connection between Bea Arthur and Rue McClanahan?
Okay, explain.
Yes, for both actresses had hit pay dirt gold with starring together in the 70s sitcom hit Maude. Where Bea Arthur played a titular character.
Okay.
Now, this information may be a bit more familiar to some of our dear boomer listeners out there. Rue McClanahan played the sweet, scatterbrained Vivian Harmon, wife of Dr. Harmon, and next-door neighbor of Maude.
Okay.
So here's a brief and neat fun fact to share, just to demonstrate how interconnected so many of these retro stars and shows are, and all that can be.
Okay.
Fun fact, Vivian Harmon.
Get it straight.
I know.
I'm confused.
She's married to Dr. Arthur Harmon in the show Maude. Did you know that Dr. Arthur Harmon was played by Conrad Bain, or Mr. Philip Drummond from Different Strokes?
Wait, I think I'm confused again.
So it's so cool that these 2 talented actresses crossed paths once again a few years later in the 80s in order to work together once again on The Golden Girls.
Oh, wow, it really is. Facts. Wow. So in The Golden Girls, Bea Arthur played Dorothy Spornak, who was a substitute teacher originally from New York City, the NYC, Brooklyn to be exact.
The NYC.
The NYC. Dorothy was the daughter of Siciliano immigrant parents, Sophia and Salvatore, or Sal Petrillo. More on Sophia here in a minute. Dorothy was married to Stanley Spornak, or Stan.
Hi, it's me, Stan.
But divorced after 38 years of marriage after Stan stupidly traded up for a young, pretty flight attendant.
Boy.
Stan.
Young Jimmy Potato.
Dorothy's brilliant. You gotta love Dorothy. Then we have Rue McClanahan as Blanche Devereaux, who was an obvious Southern belle who happened to be employed at the art museum.
I do believe the man said gorgeous. I'm going to live forever.
Not outside of an institution.
Blanche came from a wealthy family in Georgia, just before she and her husband George relocated in Miami until his death.
Continuing on, we now have Betty White as Rose Nyland, a Norwegian American from the small farming community of St. Olaf, Minnesota.
All right.
Rose was often known for her naivete, as well as her hilariously curious tales of what daily life was like coming up in her quaint hometown.
I was a little girl back in St. Olaf. I remember when I was a little girl back in St. Olaf.
She was happily married to Charlie Nyland until his unfortunate passing, and it was his passing that nudged her to move south to Miami.
That's right.
It is here she worked as a grief counselor. And last but certainly not least, we have Estelle Getty as Sophia Petrillo. Dorothy's only mama.
Well, enjoy and be healthy.
You can see her now.
You can!
She's staring at us. Oh my goodness, we're scared.
As she's clutching her purse. So she was born in Sicily and most proud of her heritage and married to Salvatore. That was Dorothy's father until his passing.
Yeah.
And Sophia initially resided in a local retirement community, Shady Pines. So due to having suffered a stroke, which oddly enough was explained and well played out in the plot episode of the show, the retirement home burns to the ground. Sophia safely escapes.
Oh no!
Where she eventually moves in with Dorothy, Blanche, and Rose to make the Fabulous Four.
Yay! We've arrived!
Yeah. We all know and love Sophia as being the sarcastic, quick-witted straight talker, as well as a good cook. After all, she hails from Sicily.
Picture this. Sicily, 1923. Sophia's stories were the absolute best.
They were.
Yeah, and served to provide many laughs all throughout the run of the Golden Girls. You literally can't go wrong while watching the Golden Girls. It's simply the best.
Oh, yeah.
The role of Sophia Petrillo was the first of 4 roles to be cast. The character Sophia initially was planned to only be an occasional guest star, but Estelle Getty had scored high with the preview audiences, so due to that, it was decided that her character became a regular.
Nice.
And we sure can see why.
Oh, yeah.
Estelle Getty was relatively unknown, unlike the others, when it came to television roles. But despite this, she fit in well with the other, more established co-stars instantaneously. As we witnessed often while watching the Golden Girls, Sophia got away with way more shenanigans than the other ladies, and it worked out well where her natural sarcasm, wit, fit superbly showcasing an ornery elderly grandmother type who had suffered a major stroke, which affected the correlation between what she said and what she thought.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. If this episode entertained you, please share it and spread the word. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your continued support. And now, back to the show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sophia was the heart of the gags and was pure nuts.
100%.
You cannot not laugh whenever she shows up on screen. So I have a couple of fun facts on Estelle Getty, aka Sophia.
All right.
Fun fact number 1. Would you be shocked to learn that Estelle Getty suffered from glossophobia, or the fear of public speaking or stage fright?
Are you serious?
Crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Well, there's a toss-up debate on whether stage fright is actually a full-blown phobia. But regardless, having stage fright can be both devastating both personally and professionally.
Wow. See, that's how good of an actress she was. And to muscle through that debilitating venture each time they filmed is nothing short of amazing.
I so agree, Kennedy. Estelle Getty said of herself in reference to her glossophobia in a 1988 interview, and expressed how working with big-time stars like her co-star Bea Arthur and Betty White made her even more nervous.
Oh, poor Sophia.
Yeah, poor Sophia.
Oh.
It is said that she even froze on camera often while filming.
Oh. You know, and you can see her doing, you know, in your mind's eye, her playing things out. So I bet she used a lot of that to her advantage. We were none the wiser.
Right.
She was awesome. Sophia's a mess.
Yes.
And we can't deny that the passion each had for their craft and the sheer professionalism found within the Golden Girls is jaw-dropping awesome. Mm-hmm. This is why, in our humble opinion, there is no shelf life on the entity and 80s fire phenom that became the Golden Girls. There's so much more juicy, caramelicious tidbits to share on the Golden Girls. We're actually planning on covering each of our star characters from this week's discussion individually. So stay tuned. You won't want to miss this. And hit that subscribe button, rate and review if you haven't already. Tell us who your favorite Golden Girl is and what are your favorite Golden Girl episodes and or moments.
Oh boy. So can't wait to hear what the Orchard Archivers come up with.
That's right.
We love hearing from you.
Sure do. Thank you.
So I have yet another fun fact to share concerning Estelle Getty, aka Sophia Petrillo.
All right, shoot.
Fun fact number 2. Did you know that it took 3 hours to transform Miss Getty into the ornery Sophia Petrillo? As we can recall, Sophia wore heavy makeup, her signature thick Coke bottle glasses, and her curly white wig to look the part and really become her character.
Sincere.
I know! Again, we'll get more into the fascinating details in this individual episode considerations here in the coming weeks. So stay tuned.
Will do, Coop. We had just referenced a moment ago about so much of the plot being explained in that pilot episode, but as many a hardcore fan knows and remembers, the pilot episode included a house hand or butler originally who lived with the girls. But unfortunately, after that first episode, the butler character was cut loose from the series. The creative execs decided that having a separate cook and character would actually distract from the ladies' friendship, for it was often in the kitchen where they all bonded. Okay, Orchard Archivers, can you remember what the butler's name was? And extra caramel cool points if you can recall what the actor's real name was. Weigh in.
Oh, this should be good.
Yes, yes. Oh, we cannot wait to do this show.
Oh, yeah, it's been a minute coming. So the Golden Girls featured an ensemble cast with the plot revolving around our 4 mature, newly single ladies sharing the iconic house we've become familiar with there in Miami.
You mean the one with the lanai? Yeah, that's funny because when you think about, the show is brilliant.
Yes.
So you think about the house, even in the early episodes, they showed the clips, the cut-in clips of a car pulling up to the garage.
Yes.
So when the way they had it inside the set, they talk about the lanai, where the kitchen was, where the garage was. Like, none of that was adding up.
No. In the bedrooms? Yeah, it's like...
I think that set for their show was reused on other... I think I've seen that set up on other sitcoms.
Ah, okay.
And they just change it and put their furniture and stuff in there. But yeah, that did not fit what that house, the iconic house was. And we'll get more of that here in a minute. But the lanai. Yeah, that all did not add up. It was so fun.
And back in the 80s, you were just, coming in to watch the sheer entertainment, and how they got along and stuff.
Yes.
But then as we got older, you
Yes.
watch an episode now, like you said, you're like, you can figure things out. But pure gold.
I think that the way things are done now are a little more streamlined.
Yes.
It's just shows back then had more grit and substance for the enjoyable factor, whereas now they're streamlining the specs of stuff and details, but then the stories and the entertainment factor stinks. So
Tell us how you really feel, Kennedy.
Yeah. Can we go back to 85? I'm up for that. Well, another thing I'd like to mention, Coop, is that the other big cliche of aging that the Golden Girls easily upends is the notion that old age is lonely. Not for Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, or Sophia, it's not.
Right?
And not because they're blessed with wonderful, loyal, in for the long haul type husbands or dutiful, devoted children, but really because they themselves made a surrogate family of sorts, infused it with their attention, nurtured it with time, and consecrated it often with their favorite choice dessert. Hey, did we get any guesses yet on that trivia question?
We've got some submissions coming in, so we'll share the bit of information here momentarily.
Oh, okay, cool. This is terribly off the charts fun this week. But back to my thought on what we the audience surmised concerning the warm relationships surrounding the Golden Girls. I think seeing this mutually crafted and nurtured family is simply inspiring to people born into families where they didn't naturally feel that bond or real connection. You know, where they did not feel seen, understood, or valued, or where no one was paying attention. The Golden Girls not only showcased and provided this for our fabulous four, but it really provided a warm connection for those in the audience experiencing those very deep and real challenges we just described.
Yes. And I'd wager that there were many in that category.
I think you're right.
And to the organic warmth translation from the Golden Girls to those impressionable in the audience, for the many who had the challenge of finding or making friends, also for whom intimacy was not a possibility, this classic retro show was for them.
Yep.
Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, and Sophia functioned as a surrogate friend group, a tribe of sorts.
Or do you mean a girl squad?
Totally. But the ladies loyally brought their characters rooted deep, and reliability set all of their habits and ways, but yet still were open to the new, along with the many possibilities that await good humor and mirth.
Then throw in the many dates and boyfriends Blanche has. The constant interference from Dorothy's two-timing ex-husband and shady business shenanigans that came from Stan Zbornak. He was played by Herb Edelman. And then Rose's boyfriend or love interest named Miles Weber, played by Harold Gould.
Oh my goodness. Stan was the quintessential bucko.
He was.
You'd see his antics play out, and one could easily see why Dorothy launched his sorry bonkus. And that ugly laugh.
And the ugly toupee. Stan was like a bad penny.
You know, the geriatric humor to be had amongst the fabulous four and their guest stars each week was nothing short of epic. But as good and easy the wit and humor played out on the Golden Girls, things were a bit different when it came to a couple of the key castmates when the curtain came down.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, fun fact. Although B. Arthur and Betty White worked well together on set and shared mutual respect, it is said that the two actually did not pursue a personal relationship with one another outside the Golden Girls cast set.
Uh-oh. So in other words, you're saying that there was a little trouble in paradise? That they easily got on each other's nerves?
That's correct.
I'm so sad to hear that.
I know! You want what we see on TV to be what is real.
Yeah.
That's what we know. So one such instance that became problematic between the two co-stars was that Betty White would break the fourth wall to joke with or engage the audience during breaks between filming.
Oh, gotcha. Oh.
Yes, whereas B found this both annoying and highly unprofessional.
Oh, no!
Betty White sensed this and deduced that it was indeed her positive attitude and perky demeanor that got on Dorothy's nerves. I can see the terse look on Dorothy's face now. Dorothy! But Rose will be Rose, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I think I like Rose's friendly demeanor.
Yeah.
I'll go Team Rose on this one.
Because back in St. Olaf, the Golden Girls' reruns never fail to get a laugh or 10 out of us. I know most of the episodes by heart now. The sharp, canny writing, hilarious second plots to match up with the main action, ingenious characterizations, and nice character backstory development for the supporting, as well as guest players, was always entertaining. I just adore the Golden Girls.
Oh, me too, Kennedy. Like, all good things, though.
Yeah.
The Golden Girls began to slowly lose their edge and appeal by the early 90s.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
And this element right here played a huge role in how things went down on the chopping block or not. Was when the big networks moved Showtime slots.
That was a big deal back in the retro days.
It really was.
It really could make or break your show.
Yeah.
Your career, whatever.
Yeah, and you kind of knew if you landed in a certain area that it was no bueno for you.
What? No Tuesday night?
So the Golden Girls weren't immune from this, especially in its later seasons.
Okay.
Time slot changes and constant contract negotiations ultimately ended the series far too early, in our opinion.
Wow.
B. Arthur wanted to exit stage left in 1992, which ultimately killed the Golden Girls.
Unfortunately, this is true. The Golden Girls sadly came to its end when B. Arthur, as you stated, Coop, chose to lead the show, which played out in an hour-long series finale. This was the last episode where Dorothy meets and marries, in an ironic twist, Blanche's uncle Lucas Hollingsworth, played by the talented Leslie Nielsen. Sophia was supposed to join her in the move to Georgia, but alas, she stays behind with Rose and Blanche in Miami.
Fun fact, this plot twist led into the spin-off series attempted by the CBS network to carry on that success torch with the Golden Palace. But that series never found its legs without the inclusion of B. Arthur.
Oh, that's right.
It just wasn't the same.
Mm-mm.
And it looked like the ship had sailed in May of 1992. Dorothy! I think I also read that Betty White was the oldest of the Fabulous Four.
Oh, was she?
She was the last surviving castmate of the official Golden Girls lineup until her passing on December 31st of 2021.
I remember that. I remember that was all over the news feeds, and we were just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She was either about to turn like 99 or 100. I think she was just like days off.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Ah.
I know.
Yeah, I totally remember that. It's so sad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, she lived a long, full life with most of it spent acting, as well as the other ladies too. So like we mentioned just a few moments ago, we will be covering more in-depth details concerning the Fabulous Four of the Golden Girls, so stay tuned. There's just so much to cover. Like, these four actresses were living legends. So cool. Hey, did we get any guesses on our dessert trivia question?
We did. Yeah, we got quite a few submissions, but we old school our choice of who answered correctly by pulling a name out of the hat. So the correct answer was indeed cheesecake.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
As many of you knew and weighed in, but our caramel name out of the hat was from Myra P. from Lawton, Oklahoma.
Ah, the cornfield calls.
So thank you, Myra.
Thank you.
As well as the other Orchard Archivers for playing along. We just love how it all goes down in the retro orchard.
Sure do. So we're about to wrap up our fascinating discussion this week on the Golden Girls. Speaking of the Golden Girls, which of the girls was your favorite friend or roommate? And out of the 7 seasons, which season was your favorite collectively? And which episode or episodes stand out to you the most, Cooper?
Okay, so let me see. I would have to say that I'm partial to Dorothy.
Dorothy!
Even though I thoroughly enjoyed them all and their, collective vibe together.
Yeah, you're awesome.
They really were. The earlier seasons in the Golden Girls were spectacular, but one of my favorite episodes was in season 1, The Competition.
Ah, yes.
Where Sophia has an old flame from Sicily visit, and she wants to go back to a festival with him. But a little problem arises when Dorothy refuses to pay for the ticket. Solution? Dorothy, Rose, Blanche, and Sophia challenge each other in a bowling competition and a battle against each other for the prize money.
Like that won't cause trouble.
No. Then in season 3, One for the Money, where they all put their heads together on how to get some quick money, they enter a ballroom dance all-nighter competition. How about you, Kennard?
That was one of your favorites, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness, yes. She was so serious when she was dancing.
Really, Dorothy?
Yes.
She was. With the same look. Brilliant. Well, I love seasons 1 and 2 of The Golden Girls best. Like I said at the beginning of our discussion, I own all 7 seasons on DVD and have literally worn out the first 2 seasons, if you will, like bare thread. They're bare thread.
Wow.
I like episode 27 entitled Ladies of the Evening, episode 13, A Little Romance, and episode 39, The Actor.
I think I know which one that one is.
Isn't it Mustang? Boom, boom. That was one of the best ones.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, that was horrifying. And episode 42, Bedtime Story. Just their heads in the bed telling the stories. Yeah.
Yes.
That was awful. I totally love all the girls too. And their amazing chemistry together. But it's a toss-up between Dorothy and Sophia.
Oh, God.
Goodness, those two's chemistry was absolutely primo. We borrowed that from Stan. Thank you, Stan, for that corny expression.
Hi, it's me, Stan.
Oh, yeah. You do say that a lot, don't you, Kennedy?
Yeah. Ba-deep.
So you're telling me you got that expression from Stan Spornak. That is too funny.
That is stinky. You can never, ever go wrong with the Golden Girls.
Oh, she said it.
Oh, well, Cooper, in order to wrap this Trek Retro up this week, just remember, you wonderful archivers, that if you're ever stressed, bummed out about life and how it's playing out currently, not feeling well, or you just want an excuse to tap into the old retro nostalgic pick-me-up, then Golden Girls might just be the RX and nostalgic elixir you need. I know it worked well for Coop and myself, because you can instantly escape back to a better time to where you felt much more carefree. It was sitcoms like The Golden Girls that helped you jettison back to a warmer, cherished time, a time when friendship meant everything. True friends were family.
Well, enjoy and be healthy.
You would see
The biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, "Thank you for being a friend." Bye, bye.
Dorothy in there. So that's it for this week's discussion. But that's not all. Stay tuned as we'll continue our retro tracks on each of the ladies that comprise the fabulous four of the Golden Girls. You won't want to miss this. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss a beat, and be ready to revisit more memorable, fun archives and better times right here at the Sweet Spot. Thanks so much for listening. Bye. See, bye.